didn't know where the audio would be coming from. I am live. Let's see if I could do it with the AirPods. Yo. I don't even know where the audio would be coming from. What is that? That looks Korean? I don't think I. Yeah, I don't know. Is that Korean? I can't read Korean. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Yo. I don't even know where the audio would be coming from. What is that? That looks Korean? I don't think I. Yeah, I don't know. Is that Korean? I can't read Korean. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Yo. What is that? That looks Korean? I don't think I. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so is that Korean? You guys can hear what I can hear, right? So if I go over here and
It cost me and my family about $700.
Okay. And then I go back. Let's see if I can do it in time. Going too slow. I can hear, right? So if I go over here and
It cost me and my family about $700.
Yeah, okay, so you guys can hear it. Okay, so next is whether or not you can hear me, because where's that audio coming from? Audio, mic. Oh, and I did the camera over here. I just felt like, I don't know, it feels cooler to be like this. It felt better. I like it. Okay, so how do I do this? What's going on, Diane Cafe? I'm trying to figure this out. It's been a while since I first stream ever. No, I actually did a lot of streaming. I'm just extremely rusty. I don't remember. I remember having to do a lot of stuff. Sources, right? Sources is the only other way that I could handle audio capture. Audio input capture right there. AirPods? AirPods, maybe? Hey. What's going on, Javier? All right. Oh, that might be double. We don't want double. Sorry if it's double. All right, there we go. Let me double check my stream now. Man, I've been trying to come back so many times. I feel bad every time I come back. It's just like I let people down. It's like you're back, you're back, you're back, and I'm never back. Sorry. All right, there we go. Let me double check my stream now. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this audio? So many times. I feel bad every time I come back. It's just like I let people down. It's like you're back, you're back, you're back, and I'm never back. Thanks, Diane. I appreciate that. Double check my stream now. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this audio? I don't want to. Sorry about that weird echo. Wasn't trying to do that. Yeah, but I figured I have to do this at some point. I have to figure it out. why not just stream while I'm figuring it out? And now I also close the chat, so let me go find chat. What a noob! What a fucking noob! Where do I go again? It should be studio, right? And then I should be able to go to, I don't know. Look at how many people I'm losing every day. They're just like, get the fuck out of here. Is it in here? Usually what I have to do is I have to go to like your channel or something. And then I have to click here. I should be able to go to, and let me close that. And then let's, damn, what a noob. What a noob, what a noob. All right. Overall, it's going pretty good actually. Um, how about you, Diane? How do I get this thing out? I can't. There we go. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Now I can like start, focusing on stuff. Uh, play Roblox. Yeah. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I don't play Roblox. My son does. My daughter does. Um, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Like I really like. I actually really like hanging out with the community. It's like one of my favorite things is actually to hang out with people. So I think streaming is where it's at. That was weird. That was really like random. Random noise. Probably a ghost. Something else is living in here. It needs to start paying rent. That's what I know. That's what I know. Okay. All right. I don't know if I could change my stream name. Don't really care about it this time. One of the things that I did want to see if I could find is there was this article by it's that dude. I think it's the guy that made Ice Cubes, the that one social media app. Yeah, as a streamer, I think I would have honestly. I could have probably killed it as a streamer if I was born like 10 years later. Like as a game streamer, I think I would have done really well because I used to record myself playing Super Smash Brothers on Nintendo 64. So what I would do is I had a VCR in my room, a VCR that would be able to record my screen while had it plugged. I had the audio and video plugged into the VCR, back out of the VCR into the TV, and that allowed the VCR to be like the middleman and it recorded my Super Smash Brothers gameplay. Now, back at this time, like I didn't really have that many friends, especially that wanted to play Super Smash Brothers like all the time the way that I did. So I just ended up playing myself. It was just against bots, but I was recording myself playing Super Smash Brothers, and I was pretty good. I was pretty good. Not like super cracked out of my mind, but I was pretty good. Um, where is this? Thank you, thank you. Yes. Yes, appreciate all the subs, you know. Really happy that I could like touch or like make a difference in that many people's lives. That's pretty cool. 37,000 people. That's like a small stadium or something like that. That's crazy or probably like a large stadium. I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of people. What the hell was I going to do? Oh, I was going to look for um no. What is it called? Ice Cube's social media app, and it's on GitHub. Was it by him? Yeah. So I forgot his name. I'm really bad with names. Can I just get to his profile? Yeah, Thomas Ricard. Okay, so it was an article by him. This guy's pretty smart. Um, and it was like a recap. It's this one right here. Yes. This is the one that I wanted to read. Okay. Also, I kind of don't want to read it because I'm not a reader. Like, I'm really bad, and I'm definitely don't want to read to you all. Don't end stream, please. I like your stream. Can I ask you a question about something? Yeah, go ahead. Always feel free to ask questions. Always happy to share whatever I know that can help. You know, always happy. Anyway, what was I going to do? I was going to go to 11 Labs. 11 Labs. I wanted to get I want to see if I could get like 3 projects in studio. Oh, this could definitely cover tonight, right? Let me see. Yeah. Sorry, I might be missing chat. Hey, this Ty, maybe? Can you react? I just might. Can you react? I just might buy Bruno Mars. It's a good song, please. Yeah, I see you figured out how to stream. Yeah. Can you react? I okay. I just might by Bruno Mars. It's a good song, please. I don't think that I can though. Oh wait, maybe I can, right? So if you go to YouTube, then you can go to a YouTube song, and then you can react to it, right? I'll put it on. I'm not gonna actively listen to it, but we'll see. I just might by Bruno Mars. Yep. 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 Okay. Oh, is this too loud? There we go. I think you guys can still. I think you guys can still hear me, right? Yeah. Okay. See, this is actually pretty good because I saw Bruno Mars with my girlfriend in. Well, it was actually Silk Sonic in Las Vegas. This is actually pretty good. I haven't even been listening to the words, honestly. So intrigued. Hmm. See, this makes me wonder what happened to Anderson Pack. Like, why is he not in that spot right there? It's like almost like if he was there, right? I like the behind the scenes of it. Oh. Hmm. And if I like what I see, you're coming home with me. Hmm. I like it. That was pretty good, actually. See, no, I'm not going down this route. We're not going down that route. I'm sorry, but now I have stuff to do. That was pretty cool. All right. No more reacts to music. Um, but I kind of want to check out those later. Okay, what am I doing here? 11 labs. Okay, so that's right. Do the personalized information? No, I don't. I don't want to. I don't. How do I do this? Because you guys are like watching. Hold on. Can I just? All right, there you guys go. You guys can still hear me. Let me let me turn this down. There we go. I think I was probably talking a little bit loud, right? Hopefully a little bit better now. All right. Where is chat? Make sure chat is okay. Seen that app before. Yep. Okay. Okay. So you can't see my screen. Let me put my personal information in here. All right. And 0. Yep. I should probably like not mouth my information, right? That's probably a smarter decision. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Okay. I think it's over the creative stuff, so we can probably be right here. Yeah. Okay. Should be good. Okay. Personal use creator. And what are we gonna do? We're probably gonna do some. We're probably gonna do some. Text to speech. They got podcasts in here. That's crazy. Hmm. Didn't I see something about something free? I thought I saw something about free. I'm pretty sure I saw something about free. just want to do something free. All right. Let's go ahead and not like tell us a little joke here. Direct a dramatic movie scene. Introduce your podcast, guide a meditation class. So it'd probably be more like a narrate a story.
In a quiet village where the sky brushes the fields in hues of gold,
Oh.
young Mia discovered a
Oh.
map leading to forgotten treasures.
Oh no.
Our distrust is very expensive.
That's quite loud. Why is it so loud?
Just trust yourself, then you will know how to live.
Like, the fuck? I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get this set up so I can read stuff. Let me and make sure that the volume is right because I don't want it to be too crazy when I'm testing this out. Let me see. Let me see. Okay.
Our distrust is very expensive.
Yeah, it's a little bit loud. And they coming in hot.
The world is round, and the place, which may seem like the end, may also be the beginning.
No, thank you.
Just trust yourself, then you will.
As we are liberated from our own fear,
The thing always happens that you really believe in. And the belief in a
let me tell you what my grandpa told me when I was just 6 years old.
Oh,
Son,
Spuds Oxley.
always speak the truth. People will never forget what you say.
I think this is a really nice way to just talk naturally together, talk plainly. Let's give it a shot.
I just love talking about movies, TV shows, really anything that's in the arts. So use my voice for those
I
kinds of
don't know.
projects.
Spuds Oxley is kind of killing it right now. He's kind of killing it right now. It's a good song. All People is their favorite song. Okay. Bro, it's been ages. It has been ages, bro. It's been ages. But here I am.
Tell you what my grandpa told me when I was just 6 years old.
Oh my
Son,
goodness.
always speak the truth.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. Okay, so can I get this article read? I wonder. And I wonder. Damn, this is a long one. Definitely don't want to read it. Not like by myself. So bad at reading. All right, maybe we could put it in here. Kablam. It exceeds the limits. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Oh man. All right. guess I'm gonna learn how to read. Let me see. I want to see if there's at least a way that I could make sure that I see the chat while I read it. There we go. Hey. Oh, I'm not doing I'm not doing the songs. I came here to read. All right. The state of agentic iOS engineering in 2026. My perspective on AI driven programming, workflows, and tooling by Thomas Ricard, or I think I said that right. I've seen Thomas Ricard's work for a while now. He knows what's up. So 2025 was an AI packed year, at least in my case. I don't recall precisely how many times I changed my workflow, but I did experiment extensively. All in all, I can say that I've never worked so much and yet so little at the same time. You'll understand what I mean or what it means a bit later on. Keeping up with AI trends is a full time job, and I'm happy doing it. I've been motivated every day to improve my workflow, learn about new tooling, and overall improve my efficiency. It's improving so fast. And as Andrej Karpathy said, sorry, I'm really bad with names. People who aren't keeping up even over the last 30 days already have a deprecated worldview on this topic. I agree with this statement. I'm not saying you have to, but I love being busy and learning. So keeping up with all this is just one of the things that bring me joy. Same. I actually love keeping up with the AI stuff. Not as deeply anymore. I've gone like super deep on a lot of different areas of AI. Like I've gone to the part where I'm like looking at possibly like building out vector databases at this point. It gets deep. So yeah, like the amount of learning that is possible with AI and just to be able to lift every single rock that you find and look underneath it is pretty crazy. I'm just saying, it's a little bit crazy. New Year is done in real life. Kilo is goat. You to goat. What's your thought on Gemini CLI? Honestly, I'm kind of a loyalist. So if you take care of me, I kind of just take care of you. That's how I work. So the I'll I'll get into it a little bit. I'll get into it after this. Let's finish the article. I'll get into it. All right. Yeah. So it brings him joy. Brings me joy too. This article serves as a comprehensive 2025 debrief. The order of the sections doesn't matter much, and I hope you'll find a wealth of information about my workflow, agentic iOS programming, opinions, and much, much more, extending beyond our iOS world. The deprecation of Xcode as a text editor. Ooh. Before you go into it, I will say, before I got into agentic coding, I had given up on Xcode, actually. I was in NVim and I was actually coding freehand with broken LSP support. So I can already see where this shit's going. Like it's not looking good for Xcode. Like people will shit on Xcode. People from outside the community will shit on Xcode. I don't really appreciate it. However, because like they go too far, they say like, oh, Xcode's a piece of shit. It's like you're saying that it's a piece of shit for like probably all the wrong reasons. Like all the things that I've heard said by the outside community about Xcode has not been my experience. So it's just like kind of annoying when I hear somebody say, oh, Xcode shit, and then it's just like you're saying it's shit, but it does all these things that you're saying that it doesn't do. Actually, it does it all right. Like there's not a huge problem with it. There's no real bugs with it. So like at least the features that you're calling out, I don't know. Anyway, maybe they're talking about older version. I've been doing this for 10 years. I don't know which version you're talking about. Anyway, let's go on. Xcode still is kind of pissing me off. I did want a candle, but oh well. As iOS developers, we're used to Xcode. Oh, that I saw that somebody had sent a message. Not going to the Philippines. As iOS developers, we're used to Xcode, but let me get this straight. I probably spent only 2% of my time actually in Xcode last year. Oof. Same. I was actually doing a lot of CI/CD work. So the only savior was the GitHub Copilot extension. It allows you to get a cursor-like experience with fast and relevant AI completion on tab press within Xcode. When I say I'm not using Xcode extensively, I mean the Xcode text editor. iOS agentic workflow depends on many Xcode components accessed outside of Xcode, such as Swift LSP for cursor, Swift code, highlighting, and navigation to work, Xcode build for building, etc. So interesting how like particular some people are. It's like he had to put in this piece because he knew that somebody would get sensitive about what he said. Weird. Him not weird. Society weird. Society real weird. However, recent updates have cluttered it with weird and broken UI choices, and you must disable most of the features to achieve a satisfactory experience. This is actually true. Like, for what did they do? It was like Apple Intelligence inside of Xcode. I have never enabled that shit. I was like, no, no, no. Xcode already kind of slow with no AI. The last thing I need is AI to slow it down even further. No, thank you. However, I invite you to try it. It's probably the most comfortable setup if you want to or need to stay within Xcode and enjoy this new AI assisted programming world without significantly altering your workflow. You'll notice I don't even bring up the local Xcode completion models at this point. Feel free to try them, but in the current race to autonomous programming, they're irrelevant in their current state. But I do believe that Apple's stance on running everything locally will pay off in the near future. It's just not good enough and not evolving fast enough for now. Uh yeah. I am actually betting big on Apple. I think that this sentiment is something that only Apple developers can see. It's probably like platform bias, but it also might be like insider type knowledge where it's just like, yeah, if you're going to build something, why would you just be okay with trade-offs now? It's like, wouldn't you want everything to be as good as it can? Because AI is going to do it anyways. It's not like you need a whole engineer for one platform and a whole engineer for another platform. Nope. Now, and a strong iOS dev or a strong Android dev, they can do the exact same thing on the opposite platform with ease. They know all the things of what to talk about. They know all the different life cycle ideas, and all they need to do is convert that knowledge to the opposite platform knowledge. And with AI, super easy. It's not just good enough and not evolving fast enough for now. That's true. Yep. Xcode Intelligence. I've been using Xcode Intelligence a bit, and my feedback is the same as for the local model. It's there. It mostly works, but it's not bleeding edge at all. Add a model provider. I don't really know what that means. Xcode Intelligence model provider modal. Oh, okay. So that's what it looks like. The positive point is that you can interface with your own model provider, and so any API. This is useful if you want to use any of the latest frontier models on your own and pay for API usage. In my case, this is not what I'm using. I have a $200 OpenAI Pro subscription for my Codex usage. I've found that most programmers have this $200 thing. I have it, or I had it actually. And I would actually say, devs, if you're watching, the $200 plan is probably unnecessary if they do have a $100 plan. Try taking a step down, see if you run into a limit, and then just go back up. But I use Claude Code a lot. I've dropped down to 100 and I haven't hit a limit yet. So I would just say, just try it out. You might save yourself $100 a month, right? That might be $1,200 worth of advice a year, boy. All right. Oh, forgot that y'all are in the chat. Second question: are dev YouTube channels dead? If so, maybe doing coding alongside Claude, etc. tutorial would do a nice content chat. Third, your thoughts on Notebook LM for studying. What would you use it to teach your kids using that platform? Yeah, I'll definitely get to those questions for sure. For sure, I'll get to those questions because those are some really good questions. I'm gonna get to them. Let's finish this article. We got a long way to go. All right. But you can also connect your OpenAI and Anthropic accounts so you can enjoy your subscription while working in Xcode. All in all, Xcode intelligence is fine. It's not really agentic programming, it's designed for short running sessions and live code editing, allowing you to stay within the flow. Apple also makes an effort to inject custom system prompts whenever a new API, such as Liquid Glass, is needed that is outside of the current model's training data. But those markdown files are actually handy. I'm using them often in one form or another to inject them at will in my various agents when working with the relevant API. Those days, I'm using them. Those days, I'm using them for codex skills, but more on that later. I think these days, maybe. Terminal interface based workflow. I had a I had a phase earlier in 2025. Claude Code and later Codex somehow made terminal based apps cool again. Everyone was making one Omarki from DHH look very sexy, and so I embarked on this journey of having a fully terminal based workflow for programming and working with AI. That's so cool. I almost jumped on that Omarki train. I was starting to get to that point. So that's really interesting that you did that. Cool. I landed on Zellige, an easy to configure terminal workspace. I think I was looking at Zellige too. They have like a brown website, right? Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at Zellige too, but I didn't see any benefit here. I ended up going back to just Neovim. Okay. I created a layout that I like. The idea was to have the project on one side and a few agents on the other side, along with tabs for reviewing the code and a terminal. I then open sourced my setup layout, and basically I had one instance of this workspace per project I was working on. It was looking cool. That's what I can say. As a non-terminally ill terminal lover person, this was as much as I could handle. Remembering all those shortcuts at all times was just too much work, but it was fun while it lasted. That does seem pretty cool. I would think that, like, I don't know what it was, but having that amount of information on the screen at once for me was just, I couldn't do it. For whatever reason, having separate machines actually helps my brain understand where everything goes. So, yeah, like I've worked on this, my primary driver, I worked on my old daily driver, and then I've also worked on my company laptop, and I've done it all at once before, and it was just like that's the way that using agents has worked mostly for me. It's just having them on separate machines. Um, let's see. And while it lasted, I believe this is probably the most efficient layout for some. It takes just 1 second to spawn this layout in any folder and get started. And as today's best agents are Claude Code and Codex CLI, using a terminal-based interface for everything else around them makes a lot of sense. Cursor, the end of IDE as we know it. I've been using Cursor since its initial release. While it's a fork of VS Code, it's going much further with AI integration than VS Code is, even today. The groundbreaking feature that comes with Cursor is its incredibly fast auto and tab completion model. To this day, it's still their best feature to me. When programming manually, there is nothing else on the market. It can make split-second accurate suggestions, and you can tab your code away. Their second best feature is their new in-house models called Composer One. It's the fastest coding model I've ever used that is not spitting dog shit code. It's been my go-to model when I want to stay in the flow. It's the model I use when I want to ask for a minor code edit or query a code base, etc. It's also a good model to execute a solid plan review or made by Codex. Huh. Composer 1, huh? They probably have like a CLI for Cursor. I would assume they do. Should probably check it out. If you're manually programming and editing code and need an agent to do fast and small refactoring so you can stay in the flow, give it a try. In terms of iOS programming with Cursor, there have been no significant changes. I'm still using SweetPad, and I have shortcuts for building and launching the app in the simulator. You can read more about it in a previous article I wrote here. Honorable mention to FlowDeck, a SweetPad replacement with more and better features, as well as a more robust debugging experience. I plan to play with it more this year. Cursor has been my home for a while now, and I've been trying other flows. And as I've been trying other flows, I always come back to it because in the end, it's the most straightforward interface to see and navigate the code. See the git diff, the cursor agent, and run any number of Codex terminal project per project. As you might see on the screen above, I'm using the Cursor UI for the agents, mostly Composer 1, but also and mostly the terminal version of Codex in the bottom part of the window. Xcode build MCP, that's an ad. Yeah, that's an ad. One of the big pieces of the puzzle for a fully agentic iOS workflow is how to interface with Xcode build and the simulator. My experience in that even the latest Codex 5.2 model makes numerous mistakes when using Xcode build directly in a project with a large number of schemes, packages, etc. Enter Xcode build MCP. To me, it's been invaluable. It allows the agent to discover your schemes, simulators, and more effortlessly and discover your schemes, simulators, and more effortlessly. Additionally, it can interact with the simulators, tap on targets, read the log, and more. Essentially, everything you can do with Xcode build on the Xcode GUI, the agent can now accomplish using this MCP. Peter would tell you that MCPs are dead, but not all of them, in my opinion. Let me see. Peter Steinberger. Okay, I guess we gotta read this one too. Everything else I asked the agent to use the CLI version, but not for Xcode. Using Xcode build MCP unlocks long-running agent flow. You can request to implement a feature, build the app, implement tests, run the tests until they work, and then run the app. Take screenshots and interact with the feature to ensure it functions properly, among other steps. Almost everything a human would do with the iOS simulator, an agent can do with Xcode build MCP. Consider how you typically implement and test your feature and forward the information to the agent. Then watch as it does the work for you. It's not rare for me to have 30 minutes plus long unsupervised tasks where I can safely look at the results later and have 90% confidence that it'll be in a good state. Releasing open source libraries. App router. A generic, reusable navigation router for SwiftUI applications supports both simple single stack navigation and complex tab based navigation with independent navigation stacks and sheet presentation. With the barrier to writing now close to zero, it's easier than ever to release an open source library. For example, I had a navigation pattern in a new app I was making that I wanted to export as a standalone library. I just asked Codex, can you look at my app router and make a standalone package I can use outside of this app? And it produced AppRouter, a library and a pattern I'm now using in most of my SwiftUI apps. Nothing really groundbreaking about it. It's just a lightweight package that makes SwiftUI navigation the way I want. It was mostly my experience to see how quickly I could spin up a new repository and vet the open source and open source the code, and it took less than an hour, an effort that would have taken much longer in the past. Codex extracted the code, wrote the README, etc., and even added the package to my app. Codex to end it all. I should discuss Codex further. It's probably been more than 50% of my AI usage if I'm fair. It's what I use the most and the agent I trust the most. The latest model, GPT 5.2 Codex, makes it better than ever. You can basically ask it anything, and it'll one shot and result most of the time. I don't have a grand recommendation for you, but whenever you feel stuck, and preferably before you do, ask away. There is not really any virtue signaling anymore in telling yourself, I did this without AI, at least not for programming tasks. Looking for something, analyzing, and searching a codebase is all the thing I delegate to Codex while I myself do other things. I can finally discuss architecture, review code, and do assisted refactoring with an always online and always available coworker. I'm not saying I don't think anymore, and discussing brain rot at the age of AI is a whole other topic that I can't wait to discuss with you in another story. I'm still thinking the same way as before, but it's just faster now. We can be two or more thinking about the same problems, comparing our output, etc. And then comes the programming part. I'm pretty opinionated about architecture, but I feel comfortable with Codex when working on established projects. It's good at searching and following patterns in the codebase. And the best thing, while I'm programming, I can research the next thing I want to do. This is how I see it. I love building. The programming is just one of the tools that helps me get there. Now, I delegate and complete this part much faster than before. It's a win to me. But Claude Code? I love Claude Code. Before Codex, I was maining Claude Code. My issue is purely related to the model. Opus is good, but not as good as Codex 5.2. In my testing, it tends to go off the rails more often and produce more complicated code, etc. It's probably very subjective, and you have to forge your own opinion by using both. But their tooling is beautiful. Codex has a lot of catch up to do. Claude Code has better formatted output, better tooling, and it's faster at calling those tools. However, Codex is making progress, and it's happening quickly. Codex for your whole computer. Want a non-interactive version of Codex that can also be used in a scripting? Ask Codex to add the below snippet to your .zishrc file. You will then be able to do things like CDX. What is my GitHub email configured as globally? Your global GitHub email is cameron@email.com. Modify and use at your own risk as needed. Cameron posted something cool that reminded me how much I actually use Codex for navigating around my computer, configuration, etc., outside of purely programming it. I mostly a Codex mostly a Codex agent within its own home so that I can request changes to it. I often have Codex tweak my git config, my zish profile, etc. Gone are the times when I would do all this manually. I invite you to try the CDX alias so you can ask your computer anything. CDX, clone this Git repository and build the project. That's pretty cool. I didn't think of that. Like just having it. That's smart. That's super smart. I like that. Huh. Because then it gives you. Wow, that's clever as shit. So it uses like its headless mode. A on request, sandbox, dangerful access, skip, git repo check, and then output errors. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. I might have to do something like that. That kind of blew me away a little bit. Because there's times where you just like you open up your terminal, right? Like you open something up, and then you're just like, oh, I just like, oh, do this thing, and then you're like, like I don't, like I gotta, like, oh my god, what? Oh my god, I gotta do this, and then I gotta wait, and then I gotta wait, and then I gotta wait, and then it goes. So it would be cool to have like a terminal command. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I like that actually. All right. Codex in the cloud. We dreamed it before. Using the latest build of my app on test flight, catching a bug, but I'm not in front of my computer, so I have to remember or log the issue somewhere. Well, not anymore. Now I can ask for the issue to be fixed. I frequently use the cloud version of Codex both through the ChatGPT iOS app. Yes, there is a Codex tab and its website. It's incredible at self contained task and experimentation. Whenever I have the itch to prototype some feature, I take out my phone and prompt it to Codex. It'll then spawn a new task and work in the cloud. I can later review the code within the app and open a PR. I've also been using it a lot for GitHub issues, Linear, and Slack. I can at Codex from about anywhere and have it get the context. It's especially good from GitHub where it can pick up a whole issue with comments, screens, etc. as initial context. You can also easily have a staging app to test whenever you open a PR on GitHub. It's really easy to set up, especially with Xcode Cloud. You can have an end-to-end native app AI workflow where Codex edits the code in the cloud, pushes it to GitHub, and you get a test flight build ready for testing without ever touching your computer. Damn, that's crazy. It's hilarious that I thought that I was like pretty good at coding and AI with iOS. It's like these are like things I had not even thought about. I've been fixing a lot of bugs in Ice Cubes like that. See, I told you, Ice Cubes. Whenever I see that there is enough context, I ask at Codex to fix it. You need to be careful not to become the slave of the machine. Code review. I code review myself for the machine generated code, but what I do even more is ask Codex for review. On my repos where Codex is available, I often directly ping at Codex and ask for code review. It'll queue a task on the web interface and directly report back on GitHub with its findings. Let me see, what is this? I don't know. Maybe I do need to try Codex, right? Like Claude has been really good to me, but I don't know, man. He's saying a lot of good things. Ugh. He's saying a lot of good things about Codex, but at the same time, I also kind of feel like I've tried both. You know, like I was trying both before they were agentic coders when you were still copying and pasting stuff into the chat terminal. That's when I was trying it. Claude was always better at like code related stuff. I still use ChatGPT primarily for like the unique related stuff, like the creative part, because Claude is terrible at the creative part. But I don't know, maybe the 5.2, like maybe 5.2 works when you actually like use the API or something, because it definitely does not work in the chat terminal. Like they destroyed ChatGPT. Like ChatGPT is gone. It's dead. It's so stupid. Like everything that I ask it to do is like it's so bad at. I also do it locally with the /review command of Codex, and this I use it almost systematically and a lot. It tends to report only the first issue instead of many of them. So what I have to do is do them multiple times after I fix or ignore every issue reported. What's even better is that it conducts the code review in a sub agent. This is very important because it means the agent performing the review is not biased by your previous prompts and context, and it has all the necessary context available to be more efficient. Yep, agree with that 100%. You have to have uninfluenced agents do that type of stuff. And I can tell you even more. You can also ask Codex to do a modification / edit in your PR. Just be mindful that it won't commit automatically. You'll have to go to your task list in the web interface or the iOS app and push it to your branch from there. Don't hesitate to run multiple loops of /review when you're unsure about some piece of code. Codex skills. One of the recent features of Codex is the addition of skills. Skills are self-contained, on-demand agentic flow. Instead of clogging your agents.md with everything, skills allow the agents to load them on demand. Whether it whether it's manual or automated, it's up to you. It depends on how you'll write your usage note, but you can list and invoke them using $sign. Oh, that's pretty cool. I want to check that out. Those are very handy. I've made and open sourced a bunch of them I'm using for iOS development. Mostly, oh, you know what? Anytime I see open source, I need to just start we need to start supporting um App Store changelog. Create user-facing App Store release notes by collecting and summarizing all user. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Yep, gotta give them a star. All right, we were here. Mostly, they come for the workflow I have refined over time, and they bring complete references, mostly WWDC sessions transcripts, so that the model can have as much information as possible. I have one of I have one of generating an App Store changelog that compares the commit history with the previous release tags, scan commits, and the codebase for front-facing changes. I have another one for helping you understand SwiftUI performance issues, making recommendations, and code editing. And one more to help me with the clusterfuck that is Swift concurrency. It has context for Swift 6.x, actor isolation, etc. It will help you resolve even the most obscure of errors while maintaining sanity. Feel free to browse them to get an idea of how powerful they can be within your workflow. You can also look at Axiom if you're a if a Claude you can also look at Axiom if you're a Claude Code user. It's a full-featured skill suite for Claude Code. Interesting. Let's go give it a star. That's pretty cool. Codex Background Terminal. Another feature that has recently been added to Codex is the background terminal. The ability. I don't even know where that came from. Yeah. we go. All right, Diane. You're gonna have to chill with whatever you're doing. Yeah, Diane, you're gonna have to chill out with all these messages. Thanks, Mila. Always appreciate the help. I know you've been in here, been looking after your boy for a while. Appreciate it. All right, all right. Yeah, we got audio. Okay. So I could go back here. Bootstrapping a new project. Bootstrapping a new AI project is a big question, and I'm happy to provide some answers to it. As we've been blessed this year at Medium, I'm part of a team that has been working on a new project, which we hope will become public this year. TLDR, a new project with a proper setup, is where AI agents work at their best. I've been bootstrapping a new mobile app project from scratch. We've chosen to use Kotlin multi-platform for the shared business logic, and then Compose and SwiftUI for the native Android and iOS UIs. Okay. All right. I think you need a little bit of time out. I think you need a little time to think about your actions. All right. All righty. I couldn't be happier with this choice. While the tooling with KMM is not perfect, it's now on track and we're iterating on it very quickly. I hope to be able to write more about that soon. And that's what I want to say. We took the time to choose the tech stack. We put the building blocks in place ourselves. First, the Kotlin part, the right network stack, the right way for Kotlin Store to communicate with the Android Compose data flow, and our SwiftUI environments. And once in place, I've asked Codex to document everything, distill it into an agents file, and from there, the project was on Rails. Adding a feature was mostly duplicating existing stuff, and the agent was very good at following our patterns. One of the most important aspects is ensuring that you ensuring that you document along the way. The Kotlin part is full of tests, and the agents is running and editing them at each steps too. Yes, it's much harder to work in an older code base that was made pre-AI, and I feel the pain whenever I have to interact with our mono repo. Prototyping and iterating fast. Working with AI agents also allowed us to be much more productive and reactive. Ultimately, we wrote significantly more code than we had before because we could, not because we should. Initially, we wanted to build a fully native text editor. The goal was to create a custom Markdown and HTML parser in Kotlin with renderers for SwiftUI and Compose, and we're about 70% there. The hard part is not the renderer. We got that. And in hindsight, we should have extracted it before reverting it. The hard part is the editor. We would never have attempted that before the advent of AI. Our mobile team of this new project consists of just 2 humans, an Android friend and me. But we felt comfortable doing it, as writing code was not the bottleneck. However, we decided to reverse course and take another direction. As we rapidly iterate and add features to our web editor, we decided not to implement them on 2 platforms and 3 UIs. So we went back to the drawing board and decided to create custom web views with a lightweight web editor and a native UI, along with a JavaScript bridge. Eh. I don't know how I feel about that. But I mean, you shipping, so I mean, what can I say? ain't got nothing to say. You shipping, I'm not. In this case, our AI agents helped us migrate to that in a very short time and with minimal pain. My message in this section: don't hesitate to iterate with AI. The code is now coming almost free, and building playground apps and prototypes is easier than ever. Multi repo code editing. Okay. I really want to see what he has to say on this multi repo code editing thing because I definitely do not like doing this. Like being on the same like just yeah, like I don't like having two things going at once on the same machine. It freaks me out. I feel like something bad's gonna happen. Like there's gonna be a merge error or something's gonna be pulled at the wrong time. I don't need that. And I don't really trust agents to get like the work trees properly. I don't know. It's weird. All right. Another lesson while building this new app: don't limit yourself to iOS. We didn't take the monorepo route for this new project. We have separate repositories for the backend and web frontend, as well as another for the mobile apps. Both repositories are fully documented for both human and AI. What I ended up doing, as I needed to work on some API in Go and some front end in JavaScript, was often to reference the other repository in my prompt. Look at the backend code in slash whatever and look if API is implemented. It's something I do multiple times per week. Yeah, I've done this too. Yeah, you just want to make sure everything's talking to each other. That makes sense. Another thing, you should use Open API. Open API for your like API templates. That will like help get your whatchamacallit on the same page, your agent on the same page. Our teams being spread internationally also means that the web editor often receives a new features overnight for me, so in the morning I can task an agent to review what changed in the web repository compared to the mobile repository and implement the missing pieces. This section is very important. You need to understand how much time this saves. We're talking about straightforward stuff for a human. Reading some API updates, some front end changes, and retrofitting those changes in already existing mobile projects. This would take little time for humans, but for the machine, it's the perfect job. You can ask it, and it'll do it faster than you could ever do. Please don't hesitate to cross-reference repositories and don't hesitate to work and do an implementation on multiple code bases at once. This is what the current tooling excels at: context building and acting on it. I think that's my problem. I think I've gone too far with like it has to be made in Swift, and I think if I decided not to do that, it would be a lot easier. Might have to drop the WASM support. I need water. Thank you. If you're using Claude Code, you probably need to be a bit more verbose and reference a bit more files, but I find Codex Go at discovery on it. I find Codex good at discovery on its own. I'm trying to figure out where to put my voice. Like I'm realizing I don't like the way that my voice sounds when it's coming out of my body. So I gotta put it. I think I like it right here. I don't know. I'm just realizing this right now. If you're using Claude Code, you probably need to be a bit more verbose and reference a bit more files. But I find Codex good at discovery on its own. Still, one of the few things I often do is point Codex using @ to the exact files I want to use as an example. Look and look and X and Y before building Z. Look and X and Y before building Z and follow the same pattern. Huh. Another thing that works well is quick embed. Find an API you want to use, a cool article. Hey, Diane. Hey, sorry I had to give you a little bit of a timeout, but it was just like way too much spam. You can't be spamming like that. One thing that I would not have trusted 6 months ago. Let me see. Where am I? Oh, another thing that works well is quick embed. Find an API you want to use. Find an API you want to use. A cool article that tells you how you should not use view model in Swift UI, but instead go pure view. You can copy and paste it into your prompt and then instruct Codex to perform the desired action. One other thing that I would not have trusted 6 months ago to work, but does now, is pasting an image. If you don't want to explain a complicated layout and want an early first draft, don't hesitate to paste an image, a Figma mockup, and anything that resembles the result you want to achieve. Codex at least seems good at understanding the intent and building out of an image. Yeah, that's also something I noticed. I don't think that I have other wisdom for context building. The truth is that it used to be the most essential part to get good results, but now the tooling is so good, the model is better at searching the code base and using the tools. So just ask, and most probably, if the model needs more information, it'll ask you back. Test more tests. What allows me to work comfortably with many projects and agents these days is testing. I never looked and ran so many tests, and I used to trash tests as a waste of time because it's a fucking madness to write, and you often spend more time writing tests than actual user facing feature. However, now that I'm a good citizen, I often ask agents to implement tests, and this is the part I review carefully. If the test is correct, then the code surrounding it is likely accurate. So, test, test, test. I often request a refactory of legacy code parts to make them testable, and then I ask for tests to be added. Yeah, I've been actually working on this too. And with Xcode Build MCP, it's very fast to ask Codex to run the tests, view the output, and apply any necessary fixes. I'm a big video game player and a big fan of game programming and development. My dream one day is to release my own indie game on Steam. I've worked on and released some games in the past, such as Grassland Survivor, a Vampire Survivor-like game for Pico 8, a fantasy console similar to the Game Boy. This was created with minimal use of AI, as it was introduced during the development process. But I've decided to take a stab at it again and worked with another 2D engine, Love 2D, to draft a prototype for a 2D Diablo game. Diablo 2D, I know, I'm so creative. This time, I decided to make it fully agentic. I looked at the code, but not too much. What I wanted was rapid iteration on various features. So I asked for everything I wanted, and it has primarily worked. I need more time to complete it, but it's already playable. There are monsters and loot, a nice retro look, etc. All the assets have been bought, no AI generated for now. This was a fantastic experience into what's coming at us. My job here was to be both player and the QA. I provided feedback on how my spec was not exactly as I wanted, and then watched the agent make edits to the codebase so I could run and test it again. Balance between workflow exploration and productivity. As we approach the conclusion, please take a moment to reflect on all that has been discussed. Tweaking your workflow and testing everything can be time consuming. However, you don't have to. The truth is that probably 80% of what's getting released in the AI world is pure bullshit. So you need to focus on what's right for you. As I mentioned in the introduction, I never worked that much. Yet at the same time, I worked so little. I never worked that much, yet at the same time, I worked so little. It took a lot of time to get there, but now I don't really program and write code myself anymore. I delegate most of it, and it's fine. The job is evolving, and I have time for so many other parts of my projects than just programming. Vibe coding versus AI assisted engineering. I like this. This is kind of where I draw, I have a distinction between the two, and it's mostly around understanding what's being built. That's the deciding factor. You can't. It's not something that has an output that can be measured. Like you probably could, but like, yeah, I don't know. A closing note on vibe coding because probably I don't want to get called out. No, it's a lot. I don't care. You do you, and I do me. But I'm not really vibe coding. Vibe coding is prompting a result, which is probably the closest thing, being my Diablo 2D project I mentioned above, where I want to test a final product rather than looking at Lua code all day long. And it's fine. Maybe by 2027, everything will be vibe coded. Who knows? I do. But but you won't like the answers. You won't like the answer. Programming is dead and not coming back. It's slowly but surely fading away. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. So I actually believe that programming. It's super interesting because, like, I follow the Primogen and he thinks like, well, I'm not gonna say what he thinks, but he has a strong opinion about AI, and he is the type of person that enjoys writing the code, seems like. And I think that it's programmers that are like him, where it's like they actually enjoyed writing the code, not putting the parts together, which I think is that actual defining factor. It's like, do you like putting stuff together and making it come to life, or is it something specifically about like writing the code that you really enjoy? And I've watched enough of Prime's content to know that he actually really enjoys writing the code itself. Like the fact that he has those keyboards and that he feels like he's doing combos with his coding. He likes writing the code, and that's why it probably isn't working out that great for him. All right. We software engineers have an edge today because we understand the code, and as a result, we're better equipped to drive the machine to the desired result, but it won't last long. What I'm doing these days is AI assisted engineering, which combines my skills with those of the machine to unleash hyper efficiency on a code base I know as if I had written it myself. Bottleneck, the human in the process. It's sad but true. We're close to projects being able to be 100% AI driven, and in those days, the most time consuming aspect for me was context switching. It's tiresome to manage all the open tasks, code review, etc. I can work on many more projects at the same time, but at what cost? My sanity? Maybe. We'll see. But it's true. I'm the bottleneck, as my agents are waiting for me to approve their work so they can continue adding and editing code indefinitely. Happy non coding. Fun fact, this story is exactly 5,000 words long, and I wrote it without using any AI assistant. I wish I could because it's long, but I love writing, and this story is so personal that, in the end, using an AI assistant feels counterintuitive in this context. But Grammarly was my friend there. Was my friend though. It was drafted on TK, and I hope you'll be able to try it soon. Give him a follow. All right, going back, Mila, I know that you had a couple of questions. I want to make sure that I answer those. Thoughts on Gemini CLI? Thoughts on Gemini CLI? Okay, so I don't really have that many thoughts on Gemini, to be honest. I I haven't used Gemini CLI like that. Like I've only used Claude as my agent, and I've been very happy with Claude. Uh, this makes me want to give Codex a try. I'm definitely going to try out that thing where CLI just talk to your agent and it just does whatever. That's pretty cool. Um, yeah, Gemini CLI. I don't have any thoughts on it just because I haven't really used it since Gemini is being used for Google. I've heard like good things on social media about Gemini being like one of the better models, but I don't know. Like, I'm just not convinced because what I've seen when I've gone to Google and I've gotten that Gemini answer, like, it's never been good. Like, I've never liked that answer. I don't know why. Like, but something about it I just never really liked. Second question, are dev YouTube YouTube tutorials dead? If so, maybe coding alongside Claude, etc. tutorials would be a nice content. I think that's a good idea. I agree that coding tutorials are dead. Yeah, like it's a hard, like people will still do it because there's people that just like they just enjoy doing that. I enjoyed doing it for a time, but it is hard. It's like you do a lot of work. Like I have 35,000 subscribers or something like that. That was hard to get to, and it's it's especially hard when you do it on an educational channel, or at least it feels especially hard when you do it on like a tutorial channel, which is what my content had the most. Like my channel had the most content around tutorials. So when I did all those tutorials, growing an audience for each of those different tiny little pieces of technology, that's just hard. So it's like you don't get a lot of the same people showing up. You get you get this like this trickle effect where people are coming in, they ask you for help on something, you build out a tutorial and that's kind of it. You don't really build these lasting relationships with people, and that's kind of the hard part about doing tutorials is because you put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, you learn the technology, you build the tutorial, you record the tutorial, you publish the tutorial, and then you support everybody that comes. And then it only gets, a smaller amount of views, which, views are just a vanity metric. Everybody says that, and it's true, but, views, it kind of feels like, oh, I put in all this effort and, 100 people clicked on my video, 95% of them clicked away like within the first 5 seconds. That's discouraging. So youtube videos I think that YouTube videos are dead, like for the tutorials, for coding tutorials. This is also like another thing, like I don't even feel comfortable teaching coding tutorials, really. I don't feel comfortable because it's just like I don't want to teach a skill that I feel is dying. I feel the same way that Thomas put. Like, there's no way that you're writing code anymore. Like, you should not be Like writing code is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. You still have to learn some of these things, and this is the part where it's really hard. It's because like I don't even know what to teach. I don't know what to teach anymore. Because what you need to do is you need to have hands-on knowledge of the code base and like things like UIKit and Swift UI and understand the differences between those, why they work differently. Like having all that information gives you the power to be able to move forward and use AI super efficiently. When you don't have AI, like, or when you don't have that theory, when you don't have that experience, I don't even know what to tell you. I don't know what to teach you because it's like I don't want to necessarily teach you just UIKit, but at the same time, you need to fully understand UIKit. But at the same time, even if I were to teach you UIKit, I could never teach you enough UIKit to the point to where you would internalize UIKit and be able to use that information with AI. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Having programming internalized is such a cheat code. It's a cheat code. Because I don't even know how to teach that gap. Maybe I should teach that gap. That would probably be a good gap. Maybe doing something like this, you're right, Mila. Maybe teaching how to code. It's just really hard because it's just like you're not gonna come up. I don't know, maybe it's like you really got me thinking on this one. Maybe it's like if they watch me, then they can see the way that I think, and then I can pass on the way that I think. That's the best that I could probably hope for. All right, your thoughts on Notebook LM for studying. Would you use it to teach your kid using that platform? Notebook LM? I'm not even familiar with it. Would I trust Google to teach? Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely trust Google to teach. They will definitely get you ingrained into their ecosystem any way that they can. I would definitely, yeah, I could see this. I don't know what it is. I still don't get what it is. Understand anything. Your research and thinking partner. Ground it in the information you trust, built with the latest Gemini models. Your AI powered research partner. Okay, interesting. Upload your sources. I'll see. I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to do that no more. I don't even want to upload my sources. Instant insights. See the source, not just the answer. Listen and learn on the go. This is really good. This might be a good way. Why? So, what is this? Like, that's pretty cool. I'd want to learn about this. Notebook LM. This seems pretty cool. Like, I've been using Perplexity. Like, I just recently started using Perplexity. And I use Perplexity because, like I said, ChatGPT has just been letting me down. Now, the research version of ChatGPT hasn't necessarily let me down, but it just the fact that when I do try to use it, it's so bad. It got me to the point to where it's just like I don't even want to do it. Okay, let me see. Dev tutorials relevance. Live coding with AI assisted learning. Yep. Gemini is free. Gemini is free. They open source Gemini. I don't know, man. See, look, okay. So we all know better than to trust Google with our data, right? Now, before AI and specifically agentic AI, I was totally fine with Google having my data. I don't really care if you want to send me better ads. I'm totally down for better ads. You can find something that I need, please send it my way. Hard part is that I don't really need a whole lot of things. Anyway, what I didn't like about AI having access to my personal information was that it felt like I was in an echo chamber. We already have enough echo chamber in America as it is. We don't need more. And I felt like my AI was being a yes man, and it kept referencing ideas. Like I was depending on ChatGPT to give me ideas. I needed help with the creativity pieces. Like I needed help blending different ideas together, and I wanted it to be unbiased information. So when I asked ChatGPT a question and then I asked it that a similar question in a different way in a different chat, and then it gave me the same answer, and it didn't really have any business giving me that same answer, it made me feel a type of way where it was just like, no, this is an echo chamber. You're feeding me back information that you have about me, and you're telling me what I want to hear, and I don't like that. I do not like that. Because like you wouldn't want a yes man. Like a yes man is going to set you up to fail. Like that's not what I want. So I actually, I don't know. I feel really weird about AI having so much access to my thoughts. Like this is why I don't usually like posts on social media. Like up until recently, I wouldn't normally like a post on social media just because I don't want the algorithm to know what it is that I like. I don't like that. Let me think my own thoughts. I don't want you in my brain. So having AI with Google just kind of scares me. I expect the same problem with Apple. The thing is that with privacy, I feel like I can manage some of what the AI will have access to and be able to manage that better than if I were to just do it with Google. So that's kind of where I stand on like Google and AI. I don't want them having my data in that way because it feels actually dangerous. That's the way that it feels dangerous to me. Usually I wouldn't care. AI with my data just feels dangerous. Claude is expensive. I mean Claude is expensive. But so is Codex, right? Codex is expensive. Um, like they're all priced the same, I think. If Google's is free, I mean, I don't know what their plan is. But I would assume that it's pretty close. I could have sworn that they said that the new Google model, the one that was really good, was the most expensive model too. I don't even know how to read this. Well, I don't even know what I was looking for. Teaching people how to code is still valuable. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. You can learn using the AI, but at some point, the human factor is necessary. I mean, Jod, I, w- I was saying the same thing until I tried Claude Code. I no longer feel those things at all. I feel like teaching people how to code is actually not valuable. That's where I'm at. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. This is coming from a guy that used to say code passionately. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. The way that I see code now is like the same way that I see binary. When something crashes in Xcode and it goes to assembly, I don't know how to read assembly. I have no idea what's going on in assembly. I don't understand what the stack trace is even saying. If it doesn't have an English error, I don't understand it. Yeah, it needs to be in sentences for me to understand what the error is. Error, this broke, you know? Like, or it crashed at this line of code. Stack traces, I don't understand assembly code. I didn't teach myself that. I haven't need to teach myself that. Haven't needed to. And now there's AI. We'll never need to. Gemini has a huge tier for you to try. The issue you are describing is known, and OpenAI is working on that. It's not about coding, it is about ability to think. Yeah, so that's the main thing. It's the ability to think. So that's the part that I've been having a really hard time with because it's like common sense isn't so common, you know? And everything can be taught, but it's just like, I don't know, maybe figuring out that space, that's what I need to figure out. Maybe that's the hard thing that I need to figure out is how to teach people how to do this, how to learn to code, how to agentically code, you know? And I don't even know, but because it's like, I can teach you that, but I definitely can't tell you that you're going to get a job learning that. You know what I mean? This is why I wish I had just like one SaaS product that was successful. I need to just make one SaaS product that's successful. If I could just do that, then like I'll be able to say, oh yeah, like I've done this, and this is why this is how I can teach you. But like I don't know. I don't know. Hey, how are you doing? How are things at your end? What is going on in job and current place? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. You know, been living that founder life. I'm actually just doing this. I wanted to catch up on some community stuff, and I figured I would just like give this little read. We read Thomas Ricard's article. I forgot what it was called already, but it was on his like year in review of AI coding. What did he call it? The state of agentic iOS engineering in 2026. So, the state of agentic iOS engineering in 2026 is an article that was written by Thomas Ricard. He works at Medium, and he wrote his usage with AI specifically on iOS. So, that's kind of what we covered. I forgot. I didn't realize that I wasn't even sharing my screen. Let me show my screen real quick. So, the state of agentic iOS engineering in 2026. It's Thomas Ricard's perspective on AI-driven programming. There we go. All right. I think I hit my 2-hour mark. I'm gonna call it a night. Appreciate y'all. If there is any other content that you want me to go over, do a reading or react to. We saw some Bruno bars earlier. That was pretty cool. But yeah, if there's anything, you let me know. Oh, and also, if you know of an iOS team that needs help with their test suite, my company, Zamrock, you can find the link in the description below, zamrock.com. We're here to help out with helping iOS teams with their end-to-end UI test suites. So building out entire UI test suites, making sure that there's healing tests in there so that if you do go through a UI refactor, that your tests don't completely break as long as the elements still exist on the screen. And essentially making sure that your user experience is a quality one at that. So thank you again. And, big shout out to Mila. Mila always comes back and supports the channel. So thank you, Mila. Really appreciate that. But yeah, catch y'all later. Good night.